Fiona in Kendal. Fiona, what do you want to tell me? Good morning.
Oh, hello. I just wanted to say that I sometimes wonder if people understand what the word existential threat really means, because I don't know how else you can respond to that except to do pretty outrageous things if not enough is being done. And not enough is being done in relation to the government's own targets. This is about holding the government to account.
Stopping my earlier caller's 11-year-old daughter getting to special
I heard
school.
that. I heard that.
How is that going to affect Boris Johnson, Alok Sharma, or anybody? Or indeed the Chinese government or they don't care.
What, they don't care? They don't care about mass disruption to transport in this country? Well, I disagree, because I think that some of the tactics that XR, for example, have been using, I know this is a different group, have got through. They are being discussed in Parliament. I listened at home during one of the rebellions, and it went from no coverage to governments being interviewed by the end of the week. So this does work.
I wake up in my house in Kent. I don't. This is a make-believe situation. I wake up in a house in Kent. I've got a heat pump. My house is fully insulated. I make a point of not wearing clothes that need mass importation. I make sure I don't buy products that are flown half on. I get in my electric car. I then get on the motorway to go to my green job, and I get stuck in a 5-hour traffic jam.
And do you know what you do?
Tell me how that is fair.
I'll tell you what you do. There's very few people in that situation you described, because they would be the well-off who could pay for their insulation and their ground source pump and their electric car. What this is about is getting homes. What is there to argue with? This is about getting homes in Britain insulated. Listen, insulated so that we don't have fuel poverty in this country, so that people cannot worry about heating their houses, so that ordinary people can have the things you've just described.
Talk to someone who's been... I've just mimed to make-believe. David in Berkhamsted. What would you say to Fiona, David? I think you were caught in it. Good morning.
Yeah, well, I was going to have a half-hour journey this morning. As was, I've had an hour and a half, 2-hour journey. I've wasted so much diesel. You've caused so much pollution this morning. And I'm really, really angry and upset with what you have done to me and so much of the rest of the South East.
Well, Fiona, just to clarify, Fiona's not one of the protesters, as I know it, but she does broadly hold support with this level of disruption. So here's a man who's had his morning commute, quadrupled, I imagine, and I can sense the frustration in his voice. Fiona, what would you say to David? I mean, his whole morning has been wrecked.
I am really sorry. I am really sorry about that. We are driven to this by the fact the government aren't acting on their own task.
You are not sorry at all. If you were sorry, you wouldn't have done it in the first place.
I am sorry. I don't lie. I am sorry. I wish we didn't have to do this.
But why do you need to do this, Fiona?
Because the government aren't sticking to their own targets. We've fallen short of... They've made 12% progress towards their target in use of power and energy in this country.
Let's get David back in. David?
You've made me and thousands of other people waste an awful lot of diesel this morning. You've caused so much more pollution than you needed to. If you believed in the democratic way, you'd do this via the ballot box. You wouldn't do it by disrupting normal working people who are just trying to go about their way of life.
Democracy...
what you're doing is completely counterproductive. Any sympathy that a lot of people might have for your cause is ruined by doing this sort of thing.
Fiona?
It's not my cause. It's all our cause. It's all our children and our grandchildren. When our governments fail to act, in a democracy, we are entitled to rise up and say, not good enough, not good enough.
You're entitled... Action. I mean, I would say you're entitled to proportionate protest.
Well, the word proportionate, I'll go back to
good old
Nick.
Legal word.
Have you got children? Have you got children, Nick? Have you got grandchildren?
I have two of
How
both.
proportionate is it if they are facing an existential threat? What do you do? Write letters? Send petitions?
I don't think you... honestly, I don't think you cause untold misery, possibly even health issues, to tens of thousands of people, Fiona. Let's get a final word, David, a final word from you, if you would.
Nick, I'm just so fed up with them. I also heard you, while I was sort of stuck in the jam, talking about sentencing. The sentencing is a joke. When I was young, if you blocked a highway, you got arrested, and the police... I used to do a lot of demonstrating when I was young. I've grown up a bit since then. And I was told by the police when I was trying to block a road, very simple, if you block a road, that's an arrestable offence, sensible with up to 5 years in jail. That seems to have been completely ignored by the police nowadays. And secondly, they said, if you do something that causes something to come and punch you in the face because you're annoying them, you have committed the breach of the police, and we'll arrest you for that. And so the police had a much more no-nonsense approach 30 years ago.
What we're looking at in similar instances now is fines of £150, certainly when they block the highway outside those printing plants. Fiona, thank you for your input. David, try and have a coffee, tea, whatever one has, glass of water. Put your day together as much as you can. I'm done for another day. James O'Brien's the other side of the news.